This is 22.2 Exercise Prescription. Exercise Prescription. The specific plan of fitness-related activities that are designed for a specific purpose, which is often developed by a fitness or rehabilitation specialist for the client or patient. There are two different types of contraindications, one being absolute and one being relative. Absolute is when exercise is not to be performed under any conditions. A couple of examples of this would be severe illness, severe infections, or a recent heart attack. Relative. Relative is where exercise can be performed, however, should be under heavy precautions as to keep the client safe. So examples of this would be diabetes or a woman being in advanced pregnancy or someone that has a liver disease. Contraindications for young people consist of aspirin. This is a pain-killing drug where if you are recovering from viral infection, this can lead to Reye syndrome. Reye syndrome causes a rare but very serious condition that causes swelling in the liver and brain. Initially, symptoms from this includes vomiting repeatedly, tiredness, and lack of enthusiasm. Another contraindication for young people is contact sport, as this can lead to injury as at a young age we are not fully developed, and especially in our joints. An example of this would be when playing rugby, as until the age of 11 you aren't able to play contact rugby and have to play tag rugby. This is due to the fact that they are more prone to injury, and if they get injured when their body isn't fully developed, this can then affect the development of their body and affect them at their older years. With their body not being fully developed, this also includes their energy systems and components of fitness, one being their cardiovascular endurance, meaning they will be faster to fatigue during aerobic respiration and won't be able to perform for as long during exercise. They also have a lower tolerance of anaerobic respiration and find it harder to perform anaerobic respiration flat out for a period of time. So they find it hard to do something like a 400-meter sprint. So normally they would only do 100-meter sprints at a young age, and as they get older move on to 200 meters, 300 meters, and then eventually 400 meters. At a young age they are also less able to deal with cold environments. This will mean that they may not be able to perform exercise out in the cold for as long as they would be able to in the warm, so sessions may have to be shortened due to this when it's colder. However, their symptoms are also less developed for dissipating heat, as they are less able to sweat, so they will get very hot and bothered, so the sessions may have to be less intense or shorter in the heat as well as in the cold. The prescription that I have used for young people would be cardiovascular fitness. They do this 5 to 7 times a week, each session being at a moderate intensity and around 60 minutes long, with periods of 15 minutes of moderate intensity with breaks in between. And then the activities that they would do would be age appropriate, as being in the age groups of young people. If you're at the age of 18 and then you're at the age of 16, you're going to be able to do a lot more at 16 than you would at 8. One contraindication for old people is hypertension. This is another word used for high blood pressure. So someone with a high blood pressure. This can then cause heart disease, stroke, and even death. Someone with hypertension wouldn't be able to do exercises with isometric contractions, as this would set it off and could lead to one of the harmful things that could happen to them. Another one being high intensity. This being due to the fact that when you're at an older age, your energy systems aren't as strong and aren't as good, so if they're performing at a high intensity, they'd be faster to fatigue due to their body not being able to cope with the high intensity. Also, they wouldn't be able to cope with the high intensity as their body would have changed a lot from getting older, as they would have put on more weight and lost muscle mass, as this is something that happens as you get older. So their bodies wouldn't be as fit as they used to be. So working at high intensity wouldn't be good for them, as like I said, they'd fatigue quicker for these reasons as well as the others that I said. Another contraindication is the heart conditions that they can have at an older age. These being arrhythmia, coronary diseases. Um, so these heart conditions could stop them from doing certain things. So they'd have to watch how much they're doing. So they'd have to do just 10 to 15 reps, and this being dependent on form on how many of them they do, and they'd just do one set. And then if it's on something that's for duration, they do just one set of at least 20 to 30 minutes total, depending on how hard they can push themselves and how their body can cope with it. Another one being extreme sports. These sports being like football or rugby with high contact, as these wouldn't be good, as they get older their bones are a lot more fragile and a lot more prone to injury. This is also for around their body at their joints as well, as they are weaker. So if they're playing contact sports, they're going to be at a higher risk of injury. A way that they prevent older people from not being able to play football is they change the rules. So, for example, they have walking football, so it's not as high intensity, and it also isn't contact. So then, the older people, they're not quicker to fatigue, and they're also not at a risk of getting injured, so that they're able to still play the sports that they want to, but just not the same. The prescription that I've given them is resistance training. They do this training 2 to 3 times a week. With each different exercise in this training, they'd do 10 to 15 reps. And like I said, this would be dependent on the form and how they're coping with it. So if they're not coping, if they're struggling, they'd do lower reps. And if they're finding it easier, they'd do higher reps. In each session, they'd do 8 to 10 different exercises, but just one set on each exercise. And these exercises would be from the machines in the gym or free weights, and they could do both at the same time, as they've got to do 8 to 10 different exercises, so they would most likely use both. The final group that we're targeting is pregnant people. The first contraindication is that they have a rise in blood pressure. This will stop them from being able to do isometric contractions. The second one is that they are larger in weight and size, so this can restrict them from doing certain exercises or certain things inside the exercises that they are doing, as they are not as flexible. The third contraindication being contact sports. They won't be able to do this, as this may harm the baby if they get hit in the stomach badly or around the stomach, and their body is also weaker as they are so much heavier. So it can also they're also at a higher risk of injury around their whole body as well. So contact sports will not be able to happen. Another one being holding their breath. This is a contraindication because if they hold their breath, this can be bad for the baby, as they need to supply oxygen to the baby, so it can stop the baby from breathing. So they wouldn't be able to do things like swimming underwater. Well, they could do swimming, but not swimming underwater. Another one being jarring motions. They won't be able to do jarring motions, as they can cause placental abruption. The final contraindication is hot conditions, as people worry that hypothermia or abnormally high body temperature in early pregnancy may increase the risk of birth defects. The prescription that I've chosen for pregnant people is flexibility training, where they'll do 2 to 3 sessions a week, where they will do their flexibility training to the point of discomfort as the stages as this will vary due to the stage of pregnancy that they are and to their body. They will hold the stretch or exercise that they are doing for 8 to 10 seconds, and they will do these exercises on all major muscle groups.